friends, this is Jack, and today we're going to be talking about the Oscars. These are my current Oscar predictions for this October right now. I kind of want to go into the main top categories: Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, and Picture right now because we're in a really good spot right now. There's a lot of great movies that have come out over the past couple weeks, especially some that I've seen at the Toronto Film Festival and others that I will be checking out a little bit later this month as I'm recording this video. So I kind of want to, go balls deep into some of these films and my reasoning for the positions that I have for a lot of these categories. So let's kind of, dive right into it. And I'm going to start with Best Actor, starting at number 1, Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. Number 2, Jeremy Allen White for The Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere. Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another. Then we have Wagner Moura at number 4 for The Secret Agent. And number 5, I have Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. And then rounding out the rest of the categories, I have Jesse Plemons, Ethan Hawke, George Clooney, The Rock, Lee Byung-hun, and Brendan Fraser. So let's kind of start from the beginning. So I'm taking a lot of the criticisms and analysis of Marty Supreme as of right now because it did premiere at the New York Film Festival as the secret film just this week, and it turns out that Timothée Chalamet's performance in Marty Supreme is the pure highlight and the front runner of the season as of right now in terms of the reviews that are coming out of Twitter and Reddit. And I kind of had him firmly here at number 1 way before this film premiered at the New York Film Festival. I've been very confident in Timothée Chalamet and his rise to fame, especially since he started out with his first Oscar nomination for Call Me By Your Name, and the second one, which was A Complete Unknown, that just happened last year. But his overdue narrative is getting stronger and stronger as we continue to kind of get into the award season. And this is coming from someone who has been following his career for quite a while, and just right from the jump, he's been bringing a lot of great character work. So with this film, from what I'm seeing with the trailers and just the reviews that are coming out of NIF, it turns out that might be his, best performance to date, rivaling, Dune Part 2 and Call Me By Your Name. So that's why I have my pros for Timothée Chalamet at number 1. The only con that I can personally, think about is just the overdue narrative, just overtaking other people in this category, and also on top of that, people saying that he's too young to win the Oscar right now and he has a lot of time to brew more performances. But I think this is it. This is definitely the time. And he was a firm second place last year with A Complete Unknown. Even with The Brutalist being, a big movie last year, Adrien Brody could have been a thing this year if the movie came out this year, and it would have been flipped, where I think Timothée Chalamet would have definitely won his first Oscar last year for Complete Unknown if Adrien Brody didn't exist last year. But he did, and he did a fucking great job in that movie. But number 2, Jeremy Allen White, Deliver Me From Nowhere. I'm basing off of the reviews from NIF and just people who've seen the movie. It's very a subdued performance from what I've been hearing. It's not very full-fledged showy. He's not doing a thing where he's nailing down the accent, but he's doing something different with the performance from what I've been hearing. And I understand that musical biopics, it's hit and miss. Sometimes it's a hit like A Complete Unknown and Bohemian Rhapsody, and other years you'll have Rocket Man or Better Man, where those two movies were critically praised, but they just fell off of the radar because of just the way things go. But I think Deliver Me From Nowhere has a better chance here because of the actor factor with Jeremy White and Jeremy Strong being in the movie, and also just the big figure, which is Bruce Springsteen, who's one of the biggest artists of our generation and past generations. So yeah, you have to put him there. Number 3, I have Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another. He could potentially win his second Oscar for this movie. As I'm recording this video, the praise has just continued to be high for this film, and especially with Leo, but firm 3 is a perfect ranking for this category. And then number 4, I have Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Please check out my review for this movie because I had high praise for the performance and the movie alone. And I think Wagner Moura is definitely going to be the one who's going to be the international actor pick of the season. And I'm not saying that because, you know, it's a Brazilian film. It's riding off of last year with I'm Still Here. I think the idea of him getting the nomination here is coming back from the Best Actor win for this movie at Cannes. So it's going to kind of correlate to an Oscar nomination if the Golden Globe nomination actually happens, which it will, because the Golden Globes are skewing deeper and deeper into international territory every year as they continue to add more international members. And then number 5, I have Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. I've been kind of like standoffish about this category placement because of the way Sinners has kind of like died down a little bit in its hype. But I think if Sinners is going to be a firm 10 plus nominee type of movie, you have to pick at least one actor who rides off of this film. And I think Michael B. Jordan, even though the film itself, his performance is kind of all over the place with like 2 of the roles that he plays, he is someone who has been a veteran in the industry, and every time he shows up in a movie, people like are locked into his performances. So that's why I have him at number 5. Then just boiling basically kind of like below or in the middle of Michael B. Jordan is Jesse Plemons for Bugonia. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this could actually finally hit for Jesse Plemons. From what I've been hearing with his performance in this movie, it's very showy. He's doing a lot of like sides of the character. And yeah, he's kind of like the villain of the movie, but also at the same time, he's doing a lot from what I've been seeing with the reviews and the trailers. But also, I would also keep in mind Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. This is a movie that kind of has been in the background for a little bit. Sony Pictures Classics has this movie, and they're pretty good with their campaigns. So you kind of have to, you know, keep an eye on that, especially now since the movie is out front with a lot of these festival releases and just the whole feeling of Ethan Hawke finally getting another Oscar nomination, potentially winning for this role. And, you know, you kind of have to like take that into consideration. And I would say the same thing with George Clooney, even though Jay Kelly has kind of fallen off the face of the planet because of the Venice reviews being incredibly mixed. And even furthermore, now coming to other places, especially in America, the movie kind of has fallen apart with its critical praise. So yeah, I don't know if George Clooney is going to be a thing. I don't even know if The Rock is going to be a thing. He's going to fight off a lot of the campaign challengers and just the whole campaign trail thing, because it's going to be a big spectacle for The Rock with the Smashing Machine. I did see the movie recently and I thought his performance was great, but I had a problem with just the overall characterization of Mark Kerr and just how it's like very like stagnant in the portrayal of Mark Kerr. But even then, I think The Rock holds his performance down, and it certainly is one that could be nominated for a Golden Globe nomination just because of The Rock name check. And then 11 and 12 are kind of, actually no, 11 and 12 are inspired choices. Lee Byung-hun for No Other Choice. That's another international pick that I really want to happen because I saw the movie. It's fantastic. You should check out my review for it. But yeah, like I think his performance is like top 5, like one of the best performances of the year. And No Other Choice, we'll kind of mention this a little bit later in the Best Picture 10, but yeah, I don't know. I think it could actually happen. And I would say the same thing also with Brendan Fraser. It's an inspired choice, even though Rental Family has fallen apart because of the placement of not being placed at the People's Choice Award for TIFF. So yeah, it's kind of like last thing type of placement. But yeah, that's my Best Actor placements. Let's continue on with Best Actress. So with Best Actress, at number 1, I have Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. Number 2, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked for Good. Number 3, I have Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee. Renai Rensva for Sentimental Value. And then rounding out number 5, I have Emma Stone for Bugonia. 6, I have Chase Affinity for One Battle After Another. Number 7, I have Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. That's a really crazy title. Number 8, I have Jennifer Lawrence for Die My Love. Number 9, I have Julia Roberts for After the Hunt. And then number 10, I have Rebecca Ferguson for House of Dynamite. Number 5, all the way straight down, Jessie Buckley is going to sweep. It's done. It's over. Hamnet premiered at TIFF, and it had unanimous praise I did not see the movie because it was one of the hottest tickets and I couldn't like get into it. And this is coming from someone going back to a couple months ago where I was just like, yeah, I don't know, Hamnet might not be a thing, you know. I think this might be a Chloe Zhao flop, sophomore slump. But I think now, since the film premiered and is getting great reviews, and Jessie Buckley's performance is being highlighted as like one of the best of the year, you gotta put her at top. You gotta put her in top, at top, on top, like straight up. Number 2, Cynthia Erivo. Super happy to be here. I honestly think that she could potentially upset because of the Wicked Palooza of last year and just translating to, you know, this year. And I think the film, now that you know that it's like split into 2 parts and the movie in the second half is way more kind of dramatic and there's a lot of things that can actually play into Cynthia Erivo's favor, I think she kind of has a good chance of kind of challenging Jessie Buckley. But a new challenger actually appears, and it's finally, you know, confirmed and all that. But Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Man Lee. This is another movie that I saw at TIFF and really enjoyed. And I really liked her performance in this film. And I think now that Searchlight has the movie, she has a really good shot of getting the nomination. I don't know about the win yet, but I think the nomination is in her cards. Renaiza Rensva and Emma Stone are also 2 that are just safe. Emma Stone especially, I think, is safe because every time she shows up in a Yorgos movie, she gets critically praised, even with Kinds of Kindness, even though that came out in the summer and it wasn't really a big Oscar thing. I think Bugonia, the film itself, is going to, you know, ramp its own critical praise once the film comes out for the general public. Ramp it. And then number 6, I have Chase Infinity. This is kind of like an on the cusp thing where if either Amanda Seyfried or Emma Stone just don't get that nomination, I think Chase Infinity has a really good shot of getting the nomination, and I think it's probably because of just the way it is right now with the film getting critically praised and a lot of people are highlighting her performance. And the only like note that I have here is just if Chase Infinity is actually going to go for lead or supporting. I'm sticking with the lead and I'm going to keep it at that. And I would say the same thing with Rose Byrne, even though she is a lead. But yeah, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I'm seeing this film just this weekend, so I'm excited to check it out. And I think she might be the dark horse of this season, mainly because of just how she won the Berlin Best Actress Award just early this year. And that kind of has risen her stocks a little bit. And just on top of that, I think Rose Byrne, she's very well respected in the field and she's been putting a lot of good work, and I think now is her time to finally get that first Oscar nomination. And the last 3 are just kind of just there. Jennifer Lawrence for Die My Love. It really depends on whether or not the film hits for a lot of people when it comes out in November. It's getting a recut, so you know, we'll see if it really holds up from this new recut in November. After the Hunt kind of has fallen apart. This is the first L of the season for the award season, and I think Julia Roberts is just happy to, you know, be back in the cinematic landscape, and I think she has a great shot for the Golden Globe nomination, and then that's basically it. I would say the same thing for Rebecca Ferguson if House of Dynamite is truly a big thing, but I think it's a minor movie. From what I've been hearing, I will be seeing it also pretty soon, so keep an eye out on that review for After the Hunt, Die My Love, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, and House of Dynamite, and also Bugonia. Let's move on to Supporting Actor. Next up, we have Supporting Actor. This entire field is pretty interesting because it's just chaotic. I have Sean Penn for One Battle After Another. I have Paul Mescal for Hamnet. Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value, Jeremy Strong for Springsteen, and then Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another. And then just rounding out the rest, Delroy Lindo, Miles Caton, Adam Sandler, Josh O'Connor, and Jacob Elordi. Yeah, I think Sean Penn's going to win this award. It's undeniable that he's the top choice for supporting actor, and this is coming from someone who has seen the movie 3 times and people have been highlighting his performance every time the film is just like talked about, and it's basically kind of done. Although I will say now that Paul Mescal is being campaigned as a supporting actor for Hamnet, he actually has a good shot here also as well, because he's a great challenger for Sean Penn. And also on top of that, I think his performance, from what I've been hearing, is really great, even though he kind of like leaves the movie for a small fraction of the movie and then comes back at the near end of the movie. But I will be seeing the movie pretty soon, so I will explain more why that is. Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value was the top choice early on in the season, but his stocks has kind of like died down a little bit because of kind of like the slightly muted response coming out of other festivals, except TIFF, which it did place, I think, close to second or third place with the runnings for People's Choice Award. But I don't know, I feel like Stellan Skarsgård, he's safe here. I don't know if he's going to win. It's going to be a great nomination for him. And the same for Jeremy Strong and Benicio del Toro. They're just happy to be here. And if One Battle After Another is just a sweeper, you got to put Benicio del Toro there. On the cusp is Delroy Lindo for Sinners. Have been kind of just been battling out with this placement for him, because I do think if Sinners, again, is a big movie, a big, 12 plus nominee for all categories, you got to put Delroy Lindo in there, and this would be a great, nomination for him, especially since he was snubbed for Da 5 Bloods. Miles Canton is kind of like the nuclear option if Delroy Lindo just doesn't happen. And then Adam Sandler and Josh O'Connor and Jacob Elordi, they're all happy to be here. Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly. Again, the movie has kind of like fallen apart as far as its critical response, but it has a good shot to kind of rejuvenate once the film comes out on Netflix. Same with like Josh O'Connor. I would be very happy for him to be nominated for Wake Up Dead Man. I thought his performance in that movie was just utterly fantastic. He's doing a lot of like cool just aesthetics with like the range that he has with the character he's playing. And then Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein is another thing. His performance in Frankenstein is just, it's layered, it has a lot of nuance, and it's something that I think the Academy Awards should also kind of like pay attention to, because I think Jacob Elordi, he commits to the bits. And that's basically the supporting actor nominees that I have here, and then we're gonna go for supporting actress just right now. Next up, I have supporting actress, and this whole field is just another chaotic deal of trouble, I should say, starting with Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good, Ellie Fanning for Sentimental Value, Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another, Ingus Elias for Sentimental Value, and Amy Madigan for Weapons. And then rounding out the rest, I have Winnie Musaku for Sinners, Regina Hall for One Battle After Another, Jennifer Lawrence for Kiss of the Spider-Woman.
Mi gente latino.
Emily Blunt for The Smashing Machine, and Glenn Close for Wake Up Dead Man. Listen, I think Ariana Grande, I think it might be it for, the win, because I definitely think she has a pure shot of winning this Oscar. And this is coming from someone who just like a year and a half ago did not believe that Ariana Grande would be the one to be nominated for an Oscar, not once, but potentially twice for the same role. Listen, I think it's in the bag. I can feel it. I can definitely feel it. And I think Ariana Grande has a better shot this season because of the way the other nominees aren't, music based compared to last year with Zoe Saldana sweeping for Emilia Perez.
Hello, very nice to meet you. I'd like to know about sex change operation.
I see. Men to woman, or woman to men.
Man to woman.
From penis to vagina.
So now she has a really good shot of really taking the prize, and I would say some parts of me is kind of skeptical about just the way it's gonna like play out if it doesn't happen, in a sense where you see other veterans or just newcomers trying to, take the reins from Ariana Grande. But yeah, I don't know. I think it could happen. And I would say the same thing for Ellie Fanning. She has a good shot for a nomination. Tiana Taylor, even though she kind of disappears in the movie 20 minutes into One Battle After Another, her presence is still there long after the movie, continues and ends. Ingus Elias, for Sentimental Value, sorry for butchering your name, would be happy to be here, and Amy Madigan is something that might actually potentially happen because of the way people have been reacting to Weapons as a film over the past couple weeks. And Amy Madigan is a veteran actress. She hasn't been nominated in quite a while, I think like 40 years ago. So it's a whole thing where I think her campaign could just like drill with the whole idea of her returning to the big screen for a wider audience and just being, something that is to behold. And then also I have Winnie Musaku for Sinners, a situation where it could happen if Sinners, again, is a big thing. For, other categories aside from picture and director, then you have Regina Hall would be a really nice thing. Jennifer Lopez is something that could potentially happen only if Kiss of a Spider Woman breaks out, which I highly doubt because the movie, the box office itself is tracking to be extremely low for this movie, so it's going to be an uphill battle for Jennifer Lopez. And then Emily Blunt for The Smashing Machine is another thing that could ride off only if The Rock gets nominated. And Glenn Close for Wake Up Dead Man, I want it to happen, but it's not going to happen, so you just have to like lay it out there so you can, put it into your thinking cap mind. But it would be really nice to see Glenn Close finally get another nomination and potentially win, because she was kind of screwed over last time, even though I think Olivia Colman winning for The Favorite was just a fucking great choice. But yeah, I think Glenn Close for Wake Up Dead Man, she has a better role, a better kind of narrative this time around. But yeah, that's my supporting actress picks. So as I was just, taking a little break, turns out Chase Infinity is going to be campaigned as a lead actress for One Battle After Another. So I honestly think she has a really good shot if, Emma Stone just gets knocked off of the, Best Actress 5. But again, I'm keeping my eyes and ears out for Bugonia as far as the Best Actress nomination for Emma Stone. So let's kind of like continue on with this video. And then finally, I have Best Picture, starting with One Battle After Another at number 1, then Hamnet at number 2, Marty Supreme at number 3, Sinners at number 4, Sentimental Value at number 5, Wicked for Good at number 6, Frankenstein at number 7, Bugonia at number 8, It Was Just an Accident at number 9, and No Other Choice at number 10. And then rounding out the rest of the category, I have Avatar, Fire and Ash, The Secret Agent, Springsteen, The Testament of Ann Lee, A House of Dynamite, Weapons, Jay Kelly, Knives Out 3, Wake Up Dead Man, The Smashing Machine, Surat, Rental Family, Kiss of a Spider Woman, Die My Love, Ballad of a Small Player, After the Hunt, and Anemone. So this 10 is really interesting because the last 2 slots are pretty much neon second choices. So going back to number 10 with No Other Choice, I honestly think this film has a great shot of getting the nomination, and I think it's probably because of the overdue narrative of Park Chan-wook's entire career. He has never been nominated for an Oscar, and he was kind of close for The Handmaiden, but it lost out that year. But now it's definitely time for Park Chan-wook to finally get his Best Director nomination and Best Picture nomination. So I'm really excited to see this actually happen into fruition. And the same thing goes with Jafar Panahi for It Was Just an Accident. I just reviewed this film on my channel, and I thought this movie was just fantastic. And certainly one of the best films of the year and the career highlight for Jafar Panahi. Neon has to choose between It Was Just an Accident and No Other Choice as their second pick of this year, because they have Sentimental Value as their number 1 choice. But I honestly think it could potentially swap around, as No Other Choice has a great shot of being the number 1 priority because of the position it's going to be released in Christmas time. So we'll see how No Other Choice fully commits to its general public reception. But what I've, seen from the movie and just from people that I've talked to, No Other Choice is certainly the biggest pick for international film, and especially one for Best Picture. Begonia will have multiple chances of bubbling to the top of this list because of its release coming in a few weeks, and just also people really enjoying Yorgos Lanthimos' entire filmography as of late. So I am putting it at number 8 just because I could see Begonia kind of like missing out for something else, but I don't know which movie would miss out. Maybe Avatar Fire and Ash would be the one to kind of swap it out, but I highly doubt it because of the way the movie is just being campaigned as just a technical movie, not a movie that you should really, fully nominate for Best Picture. But again, this is coming from someone who's just like never doubt James Cameron. It could happen. Frankenstein is another thing that could happen because of Netflix's position with some of their movies. I think it's their number 1 pick, and it's probably because of like Guillermo del Toro and the way he's been acting out in his career as of late, especially with Nightmare Alley getting the surprise nomination the last time around for Best Picture. Frankenstein has a better shot, especially with all the technical nominations it's going to get. Same with Wicked for Good. It's very like complacent and stagnant in terms of just staying there for the top 10 for Best Picture. It could slightly be a bit better because of the way the film is going to conclude itself. And then 6, or actually number 5. Number 5, I have Sentimental Value. This film has kind of died down a little bit with its hype past TIFF premiere. It did get really great reception at TIFF, but I feel like other movies have kind of like overtaken the narrative and the whole entire conversation. Same with Sinners. I think right now it's at a low with the way people are talking about it, but it will pick up once we get to the Golden Globes for Sinners, so I would keep that in mind. The top 3 are 3 movies that I think could potentially be, Best Picture winners. So rounding out the top 3, I have Marty Supreme at number 3. And this is probably because of the way the film is positioned right now, with it premiering at the New York Film Festival as the secret screening. There is high praise for this movie coming off of the New York Critics Circle and just general audiences who participated in the festival. So I'm putting it high here because of the win potential of this movie hitting off with a lot of voters, international people, and especially the general public, despite this film being compared as a extension of Uncut Gems' kind of aesthetic with the chaos and whatnot. But I think Josh Safdie, from what I've been hearing, he has delivered another great near masterpiece. And then rounding out the top 2, I have Hamnet from Chloe Zhao. This is a film that I mentioned just a few minutes ago being a potential sweeper because of the way the film is positioned right now. Hot off of Telluride and TIFF, all of the reception behind this film has been unanimously praised, and I am just one of those people who doubted this movie being a Best Picture contender, mainly because of the way I feel like this film could have hurt my senses as far as the whole idea of the sophomore slump. Florian Zeller just went through this with The Son after he premiered The Father just a year before, or 2 years before The Son, and that really just hurt me. And yeah, that movie The Son was just god awful, but I think Chloe Zhao has defeated the sophomore slump Oscar nominee thing, and has also just delivered a generational film from what I've been hearing. And the same thing goes with One Battle After Another as far as a generational film. I already reviewed this film on my channel. You can check the film out for yourself and the review. But yes, I think this film has a high chance of sweeping this year. It is PTA's time, no doubt about it. There is no argument against this movie. It will work in its favor for a lot of the Oscar voters, the international groups, the regional critics. It's going to be top number 3 to 1 for a lot of these critics and Oscar voters who put this movie on their ranked choice voting ballot. So I just think it's time. It's definitely time for PTA to finally get his due diligence as a Oscar nominee and winner this season. And I think PTA is just going to raw dog this entire season. And I could, also say Ryan Coogler for Sinners, but I think that's another discussion to be had later down the line. But yeah, that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for checking this really chaotic predictions video for some of the above the line picks for the Oscars. I will be, trying to review more films as they premiere. During the weeks ahead, I have a couple movies that I'm seeing this weekend that are potential Oscar nominees, and I will also be talking about some other movies and smaller movies coming hot off of TIFF and then the Montclair Film Festival. I was going to do like a TIFF wrap-up video just with like some of the smaller movies, but I think I'll probably compile that whole thing a little bit later down the line. But I think for now, the main focus is just to get the reviews out in a reasonable time and just also just really show my artistic boundaries as far as pulling all the weight for this current Oscar season. So yeah, definitely, watch all my reviews that were coming out of TIFF. I have a playlist filled with them, and I will be reviewing more movies, more collabs, potentially. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Like, share, subscribe, do whatever you can to spread the word out. Peace out, buddy.